on top of it.
Howdy, and welcome back to HGC Europe. We're getting ready for game number 2. Synergy is down 1-0 to Expert, and while the game looked really close, Expert seemed to be in a strong lead the entire time after they got their first keep kill.
Yeah, Expert was doing really well just playing the map. They annihilated structures early on, played around the opponent, and as we said during the draft, the combo that we saw for Synergy was really focused on having team fights. They want to go and approach the opponent, go in with the Haka from the back, and then just say, okay, we're going to take this down now. Didn't really work out for them. They got more kills than the opponent, but they could never capitalize on the kills. And again, it comes, for me personally, down to Zeratul doing a fantastic job with avoid prisons, with getting counter kills in crucial moments. So Ethereal Angel and also, of course, the Zagara split pushing that they had here being absolutely essential for their victory.
Thorough going off. Let's figure out which battle we're going to in game number 2. It's going to be Tomb of the Spider Queen. It's actually picked by Synergy. This is a battleground they do relatively well on. It also allows for them to get in those team fights and not allow Zeratul in particular to kind of pick them off one by one.
This is also interesting to note because, as you might not know, the losing team always has the choice if they want to determine the battleground or if they want to go for the first pick. And traditionally, within Europe, most of the teams, they value the first pick very highly, especially when you're looking at the top 1. But every now and then you have teams that have a certain strategy prepared that they want to use against someone, and then you have a battleground chosen because they just say, okay, we feel very comfortable here. We need to make sure that we get some momentum for ourselves, or we have a special strategy that we think our opponent might not be ready for.
It's also just speaking towards Synergy and them allowing team fights. They love to move into team fights when they get the opportunity to do so, and Tomb of the Spider Queen does allow for that to happen, especially if you can get an early game lead. So let's see if Synergy will draft for that here as we move into Tomb. The first ban of the game will be moving over to Team Expert.
Yeah. And also, one thing that you might not know, Tomb of the Spider Queen is actually located underneath Sky Temple. So that's what...
It's true, actually.
It's true.
It's true.
So if you, at the end of a Tomb of the Spider Queen game, see... what's it called? Harrison Jones. Okay.
And the artifact he grabs.
Yeah, the artifact.
He takes it and climbs up the top of Sky Temple.
So that's him. That's the guy from Sky Temple. Right
there
down
you go. Knowledge bombs
you see him
dropped here.
Don't you see him crawl into the one well on Sky Temple? Isn't that
yeah. So like on this one on the back left, there's an Easter egg that you can click. It's a little jewel in the top left corner of the battleground. If you click it a couple times, Harrison Jones will jump down. He'll grab it and start to climb up, and then that story is continued on Sky Temple. There's a well at the very bottom south, right above the temple, actually, right to the top, right in the middle, right below the boss. And you click on that, he'll climb out with the spider trying to grab him in the last second. Continuation between maps. Pretty exciting.
Hey, sorry, you took it too far.
I'm here to be your co-caster, man. I'm going to deliver. You alley, I oop. That's how we work together, man.
Okay, you have to explain them to me a couple of times. I'm not used to that.
Okay, we'll get it done, man.
Yeah,
bring in the real sports in here. What's that one that's tennis, right? The alley-oop, or is that the football?
Oh my God, get out of here.
It's basketball.
So,
I know my sports, I promise.
Boys, we are starting... Don't believe what he said. Expert with Synergy. Game number 2, so all jokes aside, let's focus on the draft a little bit. We have, first of all, a ban on the side of Team Expert, banning out the Lucio, and then once again the Anubarak. So with the Anubarak ban, we have something continued that we already saw on the last map. You kind of prepare a little bit for your opponent, for yourself, trying to pick up a mage. Gul'dan, for example, comes to mind with this setup here. Expert trying to play the support card a little bit, even picking the Malfurion super early, which is a bit surprising if you think about our earlier series here today, because supports started to be pushed down in the meta a little bit. Keep in mind, we are currently on the Genji patch with Cassia being allowed. Genji not yet, because it is still a bit too new. But yeah, pretty interesting start into that draft, especially with the Malfurion priority on Tomb of the Spider Queen for Expert.
Well, I like it here because you get Malfurion, so you get a strong foundation. It's great for Curson. Curson is just a wonderful Malfurion player, and you know the opposing team wants Ariel. So if you don't get Malfurion here, and you grab another hero, you could reveal your strategy a bit too early. So Malfurion's a safe pickup, and there's that Ariel actually for Synergy. And they also move into Vola.
I think it's
Valyria,
funny,
even though that mask makes it look like it.
Yeah, we had that problem. I had that problem a couple of times in draft when I was expecting a Valyria once then you saw that skin, and you have to look twice, and you're like, wait a second, that is actually not Valyria. They're playing Vala here. And that's why this particular pickup is now, for me, kind of funny, since Synergy was known in the last few weeks to really love their double support, hyper, Vala carry setups, and a lot of teams said that they feel it's the one thing you have to deny to Synergy to have a good game against them. And Synergy showed us a bit of a different style on the last map, and also last week they had a few new approaches, but right now they're falling back into what they're really comfortable with, picking the Vala super early, the Oriel with it, so they still have the option to go into the double support, or they could just simply accomplish the draft with a strong front line here. But Neon going off on Vala is something that we had the pleasure to watch in the last 3 weeks, so it was pretty fun.
Yeah, and you're making a great statement too with the double support speed available. With Lucio being banned out, typically it's the Ariel and the Lucio, but now you have more options available to you based on what your opponent grabs. You have Lili if they go auto attack heavy, that actually works really well with Ariel. Or you have the pickup of Uther, and Uther with the armor that he gives to his teammates allows Vala, who is already aggressive with the Ariel and Lucio, to be even more aggressive. Now she can vault forward, even tank some damage herself, and be quite the powerhouse, which Neon would love. This guy likes to be aggressive.
Yeah, he definitely does. And it's one of the reasons why Gul'dan is banned out too, because Gul'dan is the one guy that can, with a Horrify, destroy entire team fights.
Yep.
We've seen exactly that happen so many times in the last 2 weeks, especially when we're looking at someone like Mena or Nurok on the hero. What they've done with a good Horrify to an opponent's team, it is frightening. So in this case, because Vala is oftentimes so far out, because Neon really likes to toe the line, getting rid of Horrify is a very good idea here. And of course, Gul'dan also gets quite a bit of momentum for himself and his team on this map since Wave Clear is very, very crucial when you're playing on Tomb of the Spider Queen.
And speaking of Wave Clear, Johanna, the possible ban here, I feel like you just go straight into it. It allows for you to have the engages that you want, the condemn, allows you to move forward, and it's also something that Power of Dream loves to pick up when the opportunity is provided. So ban out the Johanna here, and they're actually moving towards the Probius here. I was thinking about the Hydra, because Wave Clear is the name of the game, and those are the two heroes that stand out, Johanna, Probius.
That is the one thing that Team Liquid already said. This is why they go back to Johanna, by the way. They think about the Probius, and it's like, okay, do we ban out Probius? Why do we want to ban out Probius? Because Hydra plays the hero. And then you think about, well, Hydra plays also everything else in the game, so probably we should rather target the tank here.
Yeah.
Because what does Hydra do if he doesn't get Probius? He plays Rexar.
Which he's done on this battleground in the past, and allows for people to get engages, especially against the double tanks. The Rexar could be actually pretty scary here with the Unleash the Boars that they go with, which allows the Vala to move in and be aggressive with the auto attacks, especially on Sonya in particular. So they go for the Johanna ban. We'll see what Synergy picks up. Typically, it's been the Murden. It's what we see from Power of Dream. But he has ran ETC in the past. However, ETC into Sonya and Varian, that's a hard one.
It depends a bit of if they want to play a double front line or not, I would say.
Yeah.
So they have still a few options of what they can add. If they want to go double tank, they can go double support and solo tank. There's a few options for them. Arthas is a great choice here, very beefy, of course. And Uther is being picked. All right, so we see the new Uther on the side of Synergy for the first time in a double support composition. Oriel, Uther, and an Arthas. So we are going to see quite a bit of armor on the side. And Vala should benefit from that a lot.
Horse Pants is happy. That's for sure. This guy talked about Uther for weeks on end, and now we finally get it here in Pro Play as we are on the Genji patch. So Uther now has been changed. If he heals someone, that gives up 25 armor, I believe, which is pretty substantial. He also heals himself when he uses a Q. So lots of interesting builds for Uther. I think a lot of people have been running the Q build in particular, Holy Shock and such. You can really just bring out some decent damage, but you also just get massive heals set up, and you put your team in such a spot where they're so defensive.
You can also play really aggressive with him. If you go into the Divine Storm over the shield, you have another great stun available to you. So with Synergy being an aggressive team, I feel the changes to Uther really plays into their cards, because now they have another tool that they can run with the double support comp. And I'm a bit curious to see who's going to play Uther, because traditionally when you talk about Team Synergy, the first thing that comes to mind is Sevka playing Oriel. And normally on this map, he loves to play Oriel. The Tame and Strike gives him so many options. He's a great player with that setup. But Uther can be incredibly aggressive, and that's right down Sevka's alley. So it could actually be that he jumps on the hero. But personally, I expect him still to be on the Oriel, but I think this would be an option for him, that he all of a sudden says, okay guys, Uther gives me a few more tools that I can use to be aggressive, and let's just try it that way.
Greymane and Chromie will be the final pickups here for Expert. So they have Engage, they have Chromie damage, they have Greymane poke as well, which is good against Oriel. Zvala has to get in and get those auto attacks in. If you have your Sonya and Varian playing pretty passive, you're going to have a harder time getting that help up, which puts a lot of the healing on Uther. And while Uther has been buffed, he still has some decent mana problems. If he's having to chunk out a lot of healing, eventually you will outdamage him to a point.
Now, considering that we have, question to you, considering that we have now the synergy between Chromie and Greymane in the sense that Chromie pokes, Greymane tries to finish, we could still have seen a Li Ming here for the same purpose, with resets on the side of Li Ming if Greymane then confirms the kill. Do you think that Chromie is, given the map and the small size, the better choice here, or do you think that a Li Ming would have fit with that comp pretty well too?
I've been enjoying Chromie much more overall. Chromie also does decent against Arthas compared to Li Ming, especially with the Army of the Dead getting mixed in. It goes through the Army of the Dead. So Chromie gives you a little bit more tools just to handle your opponent, and you're further out from that Ariel. Li Ming has to get a little bit closer overall to be effective with those orbs.
And especially with Leoric now in play, it's also interesting to see because he's going to try and make those engagements happen towards Chromie. So if he gets close enough with a good Entomb, that could really help them. And yeah, an interesting setup definitely for Synergy here. Putting that Leoric in gives us now a Hyper carry Vala. Hyper carry is usually the solo auto attack backliner that is protected by 2 tanks and also by 2 supports. That's exactly what we're seeing here. But an aggressive Uther play is possible. We have also Leoric, who's going to be great against the front line here. It's an interesting setup again. I like it. I love watching this. I am not going to lie. It's always fun to see Synergy play these super aggressive comps. Can you call this a super aggressive comp with a double tank and a double support? It feels weird to do that, but
it has to be.
If Neon goes off on that Vala, it's always a pleasure to watch.
I mean, it has to be an aggressive play because of what their composition is based against playing against a Chromie. The slowing sands will be enough to be a pain in the rear to the point where you have to get your move in with Leoric. You have to have the Arthas coming in for a flank, and you have to get on that back line. If you don't, you're going to get outpoked, and you're going to have the slowing sands that slows down battle so much that Expert can literally control the flow of battle, and that's something that you don't want to deal with. So Synergy has to move in and get these fights to happen, especially in the early game. If they don't, they're going to fall behind.
The early game is also going to be interesting because we are going to see battle, I would say, between Sonya and Leoric at that bot lane. That should be the solo lane. And then the 4-man is an interesting one, since we have for Synergy the double support Arthas with the Vala moving around. So that's a lot of heals. They should even with all the poke that comes out of Chromie, you should be able to maintain the hit points on the heroes. And they have a lot of tools where they can stun someone out. Howling Blast, Attainment Strike, also using the stun on Uther, of course. And then Vala capitalizes on that, whereas Expert has engagement tools, no doubt about that. But I feel like they are heavily relying on the push with Chromie at this point.
Well, we'll see how it all shakes out here. Let's go into game number 2. Tomb of the Spider Queen. This is a best of 5 series. Expert is currently up 1-0.
And in our game on Tomb of the Spider Queen, we are, of course, starting once again to the left side. The team in the lead, it is Team Expert, and they're starting here with Nick on Greymane, Adiardi on Chromie, Aethero, Angel on the Sonya, Bad Benny on Varian, and Kirsten on Malfurion.
To the right, in the red, it is Synergy. Sepka on his trademark Ariel. Power of Dream will be on Arthas. We're going to have Neon on his girl Vala. Watch for him to work in those auto attacks. Their Ice Cream will be on the Uther, and Hydra will play Leoric.
Their B-step game is definitely on point, and the sprays are also out here. I'm still waiting for a bit of Zerg rep, but so far we didn't have that. But yeah, they're...
I love the new spray paint meta. I, for one, welcome our new paint can overlords.
The goblin just killed me. I don't know why, but that came out of nowhere.
Shout out to my boy Raspberry. Drawing a few of those emoticons, man. All right, so Ice Cream will be in the middle dealing with it, and the rotations have begun. Synergy starts to push in the top. They're rotating to the middle. Nick will help to trade out. Sepka actually moves forward here. They're trying to get a gank there on the Greymane. They actually hit the Howling Blast. Nick at the last second will get away, but nice fade away from Synergy.
Yeah, they're definitely aggressive right now, and this is kind of what we expected. Hydra is holding the bot lane and is currently making sure that they're not losing out on the gems, but Greymane is really pressured back the entire time. ADRD gets a lot of shots in, but as we said before, having a double support helps them out a lot. And even Leoric moving into the mid lane right now, trying to help out a bit to just push these waves out. Wave flares, of course, one of the things they need to be a bit concerned about, but Ice Cream is just simply moving in, making sure that he gets the experience there. And 4-man it's an interesting split. Now Uther is coming in too and can drop the heal, of course. Doesn't even have to, saves his mana for now. Neon even dodging the shots of Chromie. But yeah, this is going to be a cool game to watch.
Yeah, and I like the pressure that they're putting on the Greymane. It makes it harder for the wave clear to happen. Suddenly you make Chromie have to use her W to help out with the push, and as well as the Malfurion, who also got Moonburn at level 1. Nailed that, and that will help out with the pushing. So then putting pressure on Greymane keeps him at bay, which allows Leoric to help out with the pushing overall. As mentioned, Synergy needs to get one of the first turn-ins.
Also adjustments made for Sonya here, going into the block on 1 to have a bit of an easier life against Leoric himself, who went into hopelessness. Once again, the attack over here, trying to body block Bad Benny. He's in trouble way too early. Nice detainment strike. This is exactly what Sevka is all about when we're talking Oriel. Moves around the target, looks for the wall, bodies him into it, stuns out, and that's the first kill for Synergy.
Synergy getting the first kill will also give them the first talent advantage. They hit level 4 here. They're bringing out the multi-shots here, so wave clear is definitely the name of the game as they would continue to keep clearing out these waves over their opponents. Expert on the other side here, let's watch out for their talents here. Sonya should be getting some pickups here at 4. What is she going to be moving into? We have the parry build still here for Variant. Okay, so we have the extra auto attack damage from Sonya. She intends to be pretty aggressive in her fights.
Also now with the talents that we have for Uther, the Wave of Light on level 1, and we have the Holy Fire, which is more or less the standard talent that we've seen so far since the patch on Uther as his level 4 in most cases. Neon taken down here. That is the one hero they really need to protect in this setup. Aethero Angel also attempting to make a few plays against Hydra, but the Drain Hope was on point, so he's able to move away on his Leoric. But losing Vala is definitely a problem, and that mainly happened because Uther was not part of that particular setup.
That was a really good bait too by Chromie. She acted as she was in a spot where Vala could go in for the kill, how she bolted in, brought in the auto attack, and also dropped a Hungering Arrow, and that allowed for Nick to jump over the wall and come in and kill that Vala, which again slows down the momentum of Synergy. Engage happens here. Dragon's Eye does connect with Uther. Low on health here. He's going to have to tap. Sevka and Sir Ice Cream now will be joining Neon, and suddenly this momentum they had in the early game, they have to earn it back.
Yeah, also when it comes to the turn-ins, 40 gems turned in for Expert. It means another 10 and they are good to go with the first Web Weaver wave here. So right now, the thing is, we have Uther not really completely being part of that of a 4-man. It's basically a 3-man that rotates, and Uther always helping out Leoric if need be in controlling that bottom turn-in spot as well. So it's a bit of a different setup that we are used to see on the map. I don't think that with 2 supports in a 4-man rotation they would be able to drop anybody here, but with Expert making moves towards Leoric all the time, it would put him into a way more dangerous situation. Hydra himself holding 21 gems is always attempting to turn in here, but the pressure is again happening in the mid lane as we are seeing turn-in attempts by Power of Dream now. Aethero Angel doing really well at the bot lane, winning it outright against Leoric.
I do like Leoric trying to turn in there and then bring 2 tanks down, which allowed for it. Okay, Neon to try and push back these waves in, but he gets picked off there with ADRD and crew bringing out the damage. Big kill as Vala falls once again.
They have a massive problem with running a 3-man essentially against a 4-man. This is just not working out. They're attempting to do that again, but they need Uther in these mixes. The problem is that down to the bottom of the map, they're now setting up 2 heroes against Aethero alone. Blue Web Weaver is descending, and Aethero Angel on his Sonya with the assistance that he got a bit earlier is just winning the lane, is binding 2 heroes to that bot turn-in point, and that makes it so much easier for the rest of his team to deal with the 3 remaining heroes that are attempting to protect the top turn-in spot.
Yeah, Sonya's not going to lose that fight as long as she's not getting near Uther and gets stunned out of her Whirlwind. Even if she does, if she's around 3/4 of her health, like, they're not going to get the kill whatsoever. And so Thuro continues to push in on that limit. Now we have Web Weavers pushing in on middle, top, and bottom. Sonya has been left alone in the bottom against the Auric, while everyone else grouped up here in the middle, driving the turrets, even slowing Sands coming out.
Yeah, they are all going for it right now. And also we have the repeated offense taken on the side of Oriel, really focusing or speccing into the detainment strike. And this is one of the things that we pointed out earlier already. It's really where Sevka shines and where he wants to have a bigger impact on the hero. Now in the double support setup, he knows that he doesn't need as much of a heal capacity, so he's attempting that. Aethero Angel is going for Hydra. That would be 30 gems lost, nearly closing the distance, but Sevka is now moving into Detainment Strike. Couldn't get the stun out of it. Yeah, there comes a quick drain hole, but it should not end up being a kill. But actually be careful here.
Oh my golly. Jeez! ADRD comes in and drops the combo. Chromie legend.
Yeah, Synergy is having a really rough time. I think team fights for them are not too bad. The problem really is they cannot deal with that bot lane right now. Their solo lane is completely falling apart, and the attempts to rescue the lane just completely destroy all the plans that they had for the mid and the top.
Feels bad, man. Synergy's early game, they were in a solid spot, they had a little bit of momentum, they had a couple of Vala picks, and suddenly it seems like Team Expert is just starting to run away with this game. They are 8 gems away from getting a second turn-in.
But, to be fair, in the early stages, at least not too much was lost for Synergy yet. They defended okay-ish against the first Web Weaver wave. They took damage at the bottom fort, which definitely hurts, and a lot of the towers were dropped. But they are about to hit level 10, and maybe they can prevent that second turn. But even if it happens, they should still be able to get one or two good team fights out of it, and that's where they really have to start their comeback then.
Yeah, it's a good point. They still have wave clear with, of course, the York here, and then the Vala. Vala sadly gets picked off again, though, in the bottom right by Sonya, I believe, or was that in the middle? Still, pick off hits. Team Expert continues to push in. They have 44 gems, 4 turn-in available. For the moment, they just push in the middle to make Synergy play a bit more reserved. And remember, that bottom lane just keeps getting pushed in. Sonya, by herself, has helped get it down to half health with the aid of the Giants.
Yeah, right now, Expert is really running with this, and they can turn in whenever they want. The fort is about to be taken down at the bot lane. Ethereal Angel is nearly taking Hydra down. That's 41 gems. He barely survives. Whew. And that was sheer luck.
More calculated numbers, but we'll go with the luck.
All right, if he calculates that much, then he has the wrong job, because then he could literally be rocket science scientist.
Okay, Expert gets their turn in. We're gonna have 3 Web Weavers pushing in, the fort in the bottom to take it out, so main priority should be that top fort, but also pushing in for a fight. They move in on Ice Cream, who gets hit with the Cursed Bullet. We're gonna have some siege damage come in from ADRD. Syndergosa has been picked by Power. They are looking to move in for the engage.
I think Synergy is completely off. I have no clue what they're doing here. They just... Okay, what just happened is they used an Entomb and Syndergosa with 3 of the heroes being at the bot lane. How is that supposed to work? There is no scenario in which their main damage dealer, who's missing, is making it into the mid lane in time to capitalize on either one of these heroic abilities. That was a waste of 2 heroics with no value whatsoever. There's either a massive, massive problem in communication that they didn't realize that the rest of the team was so far away, or yeah, that must basically be it, but it's a huge problem for them right now.
Well, slight miscommunication from Synergy is going to cost them here. As Expert pushes in the middle, realizing 2 of the major heroics were down during that push. Syndergosa is still down for 30 seconds. The Web Weaver pushing the top, pushing the fort all by itself here, so 13 is now available for Experts. We have the level 11 picked up for Chromie, which gives us that reaching through time, and now with 14 hitting, should be able to grab her next talent. Okay, so we have 25 seconds still down on Arthur's, but they have the one saving grace for Synergy is that they hold a ton of gems. It's 107. That's a double turn-in available if they get that in. So that would be huge. Boss is now about to be taken, but Synergy losing those 2 heroics that actually hurt them so much, because after that happened, they couldn't take a team fight anymore. Now all of a sudden they suffered a lot of damage. Moving in again, they see that boss is taken, but they see it too late. They can't contest it anymore. Expert is capitalizing on all these mistakes in beautiful fashion, makes all the right moves, but at least Synergy turned in. So that gives them a bit of safety of mind where the lanes are being pushed back while they're trying to defend against the boss up at the top. Yeah, some slight defense, and they also dropping some gems off. The Orcs in the back left, they're going in for an engage here. ADRD is the main focus. Hydra comes in. He does hit the Entomb. Also nails the Drain Hope there as well, so we will have a kill on Chromie. Syndergosa coming out as well, and Synergy is making a play.
Synergy is making a play. It's still pretty scrappy. We're going to talk about that in a moment, but they get the double kill, and that's the important one. They only lose Leoric, and that's not an issue. They picked up the gems again, so they can turn in here. But their coordination is still pretty bad, but it works in this fight. They're going to come back to that after the push here ended. They still have another Web Weaver wave that they can potentially summon. This is a great situation for them to come back into this. They're already looking at a 2-level deficit, but if they take a few of the structures down, they can definitely close that gap fast.
Well, this fort's been killed off. The bottom Web Weaver's pushing in. Synergy continues to keep moving forward here. Would love to get a little bit more damage. There we go. Grab the turret to get a little bit more experience. We're going to have the Time Walker's Pursuit coming out, revealing where the entire team is for Synergy. Nick on the side here almost gets hit with a Howling Blast. Now, the Web Weaver is still on the bottom, so we can't have a turn in for Synergy quite yet, and Team Expert sets up a bait.
Yeah, they're going in for Hydra. Should be saved, and that is the power of Uther. Leoric still falling though, but they could potentially get a kill here. Nope, with Ethereal Angel whirlwinding in, it looks like a double, triple, quad kill against them. Oh my god, everybody getting body here.
It does not stop. Hydra surviving for a few more seconds as he goes all in on the Chromester here. Won't be able to get the kill. All 5 members down for Synergy, and they lose all of their gems.
Even Resurrect has been used by Oriel in that fight. There's so many things. Okay, so the fight where they killed the 2 heroes. This was also one of the weirdest fights that I've seen. You saw Leoric on the minimap trying to go into the backline. He was trying to set something up with the Entomb. The rest of the team was moving in, but it was so rushed and forced that when Arthas moved past the boss, he got stunned by the boss. So the team basically seemed to have called, go, 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 we're taking it now. Arthur saying, boys, I'm not there yet. They're like, hey, hurry up, man. He's trying to move past the boss. Boss stuns him out. Entomb is already down. Leoric is about to fall. They still get a kill there, but then Arthur's trying to use Syndragosa super late, and they still somehow manage to win the fight, but that was really scrappy.
Well, let's check out this fight that we last saw here. Look at Bad Benny. He immediately moves in for Hydra. There's a setup there from Chromie to bring out the damage. It does connect and does a decent amount of damage overall. We're going to have Sefka drop down the Resurrect on Hydra, so you're going to see him spawning soon, but everyone else is focused down. Curse walked in with a Twilight Dream to hit multiple people, and Synergy just got wiped.
Synergy funneled into the worst choke point they possibly could. They get the Entomb, and once they get the Entomb, they're saying, boys, we gotta kill. And they go in. Malfurion moves in from the side, goes for the bird, silences everything, and AD just pokes away from them, whereas we have Sonya well winning in. So I don't know, it's for me it's so frustrating because Synergy shows these signs of genius that are absolutely fantastic to watch, and I'm loving their aggression. But then they want too much and they're too impatient. They showed us last week some very patient games, but today they seem to be feeling the pressure really to make something happen there. If they coordinate the combo that we've seen earlier, the idea that they have with these ults perfectly, they can completely destroy Expert in teamfight. Just think about a good setup with Leoric in the Entomb. At the same time, Arthas with the Syndragosa, and then everything coming together. That's a really cool move. Something that's a bit risky, other teams wouldn't do it, but they can make that work. But they give Expert so many little flaws to exploit. But again, they're not out of this yet. They have still a chance to make that work. This is actually a pretty fun thing to do. Also with the Resurrect on Oriel. Divine Shield on Uther. No, there's so many things here. It's awesome, but also a bit frustrating.
Well, they have to defend first. As mentioned, the Webweaver's pushing in the top and the middle. They, in fact, are not going to go for the defend. They're just going to go for the all-in play. Power on the back left. Charges in. He hits a Thorough Angel. The taunt comes out. He gets focused down. Arthas gets low, but does survive here with the healers being available. Here comes the Yorick. Syndragosa has been used.
Leoric is finally here. It's too late. Leoric comes in and 2 heroes are already dead.
Divine Shield was not used yet. We still have the Resurrect. It will be happening here on the Uther. He's on the back left. Sefka keeps him healed up. Neon's working in some attacks. The Yorick finally falls, though. Twilight Dream being used. Arthas gets sniped, and this combo that Synergy has does not pay off.
18 kills against 3. Expert is playing this super well. They go in again, 1 kill after another, well coordinated. They take the fights when they have to. They take bosses, and also, of course, at the same time, then the objective whenever the chance presents itself. Now we have them with another victory in this best of 5. They're taking down the core, making this a 2-0 against Synergy here in our best of 5 at the HGC.
Yeah, you're completely right. In game number 1, Synergy seemed like they were the Synergy that we're used to. They make some plays here and there. Did they kind of outplay by Expert? But in game number 2, man, looking a bit off.
Yeah, it's just frustrating sometimes to watch. It's also, we talk to these guys a lot, and normally when we are talking afterwards or the next day when we're interviewing them a bit and saying, okay, guys, what happened there? They're always says like, yeah, we kind of wanted too much again, moved into a wrong spot. And you keep kind of rooting for them a little bit just because it's the underdog story and you want them to, if not win, at least present themselves and show what they can do. Since we see them go against other teams, it just feels like no matter who they play against, they're always a little bit under that level. So they play incredibly well when they play against the top 3 oftentimes, or at least much, much better against such a team. So they adjust a little bit to the opponent's level, but never to an extent where they overtake them. So, yeah.
It's just a failure not coming together. Synergy just not fully pulling it off. And I like the idea there, the Divine Shield being available, the Resurrect, the idea of maybe someone gets killed off like Uther after he dropped us at his heels, but it just didn't come out.
Think about the last fight. It's level 18, nearly 19 against 16. So there's a situation where you still have even talent.
Yeah, it's even talents.
So you want to fight.
Yeah.
And they moved into the battle with 4 heroes.
Yeah, Leoric wasn't there.
Leoric was still in the middle, and that's exactly the problem. That happened to them in this game 3 times, where they took a fight too early, and heroes couldn't come in. We saw it the first time when in the mid lane, Arthas and Leoric are using Entombments and Ragosa. They're like, team? No damage
We
dealer.
use our buttons.
No damage dealer around. Then they do it again up at the top, where Arthas saying like, boys, I'm coming. The boss are like, no, you're not. Stuns him out. He doesn't come in. And then they go into that death trap at the bottom where they're like, hey, I got the Entomb, I got the kill. And everybody funnels in. And then Furion says like, Twilight Dream. There we go. And I mean, Synergy had problems there. And we have to also not only talk about them. I mean, talking expert, they saw these mistakes.
Yeah,
and they
capitalized heavily. Yeah.
They perfectly did it. I mean, you see the fight at the top. And for a lot of people, the instinct would be, okay, boys, move back now because we want the 20. We don't want to fight. And then someone makes the call, guys, Leoric is still clearing the wave in the middle. We take this.
Yeah, we just move in.
And then they take down, I think it was Arthas and Uther immediately. And yeah, as he said, Oriel was trying to revive, but the only thing that accomplished is put another kill onto the kill count of Expert. Synergy.
Caldor is upset.
You
want more from them. I think
Synergy has the skills to do it.
Yeah.
What I really want them to do right now, take a breath, focus a little bit, take a minute, and then show what you can do. Because Synergy, you are better than this. Expert, they want the 3-0, and after the break, we're going to find out if they can pull it off or if Synergy comes together for a last final stand.